All right, good evening, baseball people. I realize that Thursday is a slow night on YouTube, but I want to get this thing started. So, this is the out of the park version of the tournament that we've set up using teams from the article on Boston.com. And I've put the link in the Ned McGreevy Discord. I think somebody put it in the Fields of Dreams Discord. Put it in the comments section of the last two videos. So, the idea is to do this tournament in a few games. Out of the Park Baseball, which it's done and ready to go. Also, Action PC Baseball, the National League, is ready to go. Still got to do the American League. And then Pocket Pennant Run, going to take a little bit more work. And I'm thinking about also including Diamond Mine Baseball. So, should be a lot of fun. If you want to know these teams, you'll get, again, just check out those. Just check out that list from that great article. And we're about ready to go. Nathaniel, always the first one in here, man. I love it. I love it. So for Nathaniel, let's look for Milwaukee, and we're going to play Milwaukee. So the idea for this first run through in this tournament and all these games, it's going to be just one and done. So you win, you advance, you lose, you're out of there. All right, so that's what it's going to be, because if we try to make this best of three, best of three, best of five, it's going to go on for a long, long, long time. So really, really don't want to do that. All right, there we go. So it looks like it's going to be the Brewers, the 1982 Brewers versus the 1965 Twins. Sudden death, baby. Absolutely, absolutely. So let us find that. So this is a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. Is this it? No, this is not it. These are so hard to read. There we go. Blink. Just got to get this right. There we go. Come on, you. All right. The Milwaukee Brewers of 1982 versus the 1965 Minnesota Twins. So this game will see Don Sutton starting for Milwaukee. In that year, 1982, 17 wins, 9 losses, the 3.06 earned run average. He'll be opposed by Jim Cott for the 1965 Twinsies, 18 and 11 with a 2.83 earned run average. So, winner moves on to the next round, and the losing team, we're going to do something with some of the losing teams, maybe create another sort of thing where the teams who lost will get to face each other. And there's a lot we can really do with this. But this one's for Nathaniel. I know he loves his Milwaukee Brewers. So, yep, I'm hoping this is going to be a good game. Let's get started. Hopefully the sound is all right. Somebody wrote in the comments that the volume's a little low, so all right, here we go. And I forgot to load in pictures, so you guys are gonna have to put up with face gen. Not a fan myself, and I just gotta get to work on that. All right, we're not going to use any. There's not going to be any warm up rules or anything like that. I only do that in Pocket Pennant Run. Just making sure things look all right here. It looks like it does. All right, let's look at the starting lineup for the visiting 1982 Harvey's Wall Bangers. The beloved Brewers here leading off at third base, Paul Molitor. Batting second at second base, Jim Gantner. Batting third at short, Robin Yount. In the cleanup spot at first base, Cecil Cooper. Batting fifth in center field, Gorman Thomas. Batting sixth and catching, Ted Sizemore. Batting eighth in left field, Ben Ogilvy. Batting eighth, Mark Bruhard in right field, and Don Sutton pitching batting ninth. So you're going to see a few doppelganger players in here, but it's really about how the player was with that team, rather than trying to just, from that Boston.com article, trying to find, players and making sure they're not repeated or anything. I just decided to just have fun with this because Don Sutton with the Dodgers is going to be very, very different than Don Sutton with the Brewers. All right, for the hometown 1965 Minnesota Twins, leading off at shortstop, Zoyo Versales. Batting second in center field, Jimmy Hall. Batting third in right field, Tony Oliva. Batting in the cleanup spot at first base, the killer, Harmon Killebrew. Batting fifth, left fielder Bob Allison. Batting sixth and catching, Earl Batty. Batting 7th at the hot corner, Rich Rollins. Batting 8th at second base, Frank Quilici. And yes, I'm using the Italian pronunciation. And pitching and batting ninth, Jim Cott. Let's get out to the ball game. We are going to be playing at Metropolitan Stadium. And let's have some fun here. Clear skies, 52 degrees. We do have a wind blowing in from right field at 10 miles per hour. So again, this is a one and done. All right. So Hollow Park Baseball 26. What a steal. So guys, we are less than 2 weeks away, by the way, from the release of Digital Diamond version 13. And boy, does it look sweet. All right, we got to change up this view a little bit. I mean, I like it, but I need something that's going to be a little bit better. Yeah, because we like that. I believe Mike talked about one called Park Pick. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, we're just going to do this full thing. I mean, you got to see those beautiful unis there a little bit. So we're going to use Park Pick for all of these, the Park Pick camera. And finally, for the action view, we will do this. All right, so good luck. Good luck. I mean, in show business, we'd say break a leg, but we don't want these guys breaking legs or anything like that. Besides, I think I have injuries turned off. All right, looking at the starting defense for the 1965 Minnesota Twins here at Metropolitan Stadium. In left field, it's Bob Allison. In center, Jimmy Hall. And in right, Tony Oliva. Around the horn from first to third, Harmon Killebrew, Frank Quilici, Zoilo Versalles, and Rich Rollins. Catching, Earl Batty. Jim Cott ready to face Paul Molitor. We're going to do our little drone fly through. So in the regular season, Paul Molitor hit 302 that year with 19 home runs, 71 runs batted in, and we're ready to get underway here. Old Metropolitan Stadium in the Twin Cities, baby. American League action. And here we go. The first pitch of the ball game, and swung on and promptly dumped into center field for a base hit. So the Twins, one pitch and one hit, and here we go. Corey Highfield joining us here. Says hello to me and to Advocate 8, Nathaniel, and Nathaniel talking back to him. All right, here's Jim Gantner. Gantner in 1982, a 295 average, 4 home runs, 43 runs batted in. Molitor with excellent speed on at first for the Brewers. Cott peers in, has the sign from Earl Batty. 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss. So there we go. So Jim Cott records his first strikeout and brings up Hall of Famer Robin Yount. 331 average for the Brew Crew that year. 29 home runs, 114 runs batted in. 1-0 pitch on the way, and Yount tags this one out to center field. It is deep, but not deep enough. Short of the track, and Jimmy Hall makes the catch. So 2 down. Molitor scampers back to first. All right, batting in the cleanup spot for Milwaukee here is Cecil Cooper. 32 home runs, 121 runs batted in 1982, a 313 average. Here is the pitch from the lefty, and Cooper dumps a little Texas leaguer into left field and going to third. Oh, and a base running gaff. Paul Molitor cut down at third. Bad base running. So great throw there by Bob Allison. Side retired. We head to the bottom of the first inning. Milwaukee nothing and Minnesota coming to bat. All right. Okay, so Clinton Parks, that was a pitch. I thought he peed on the batter. Yeah, so I like to have the, I call it the tracer. I like to have the tracer on. I know it's called a telestrator or whatever it is, but I call it the tracer. Makes things a little bit easier to follow. So welcome in Clinton Parks. Reds have lost 3 straight 1-0 games. Guys are doing what the Pirates are doing, brother. We are not doing well. The National League Central as a whole so far in 2025, not exactly setting the world on fire. All right, Zoilo Versalles leading things off here for the Twins. But first, let's look at the starting defense for the 1982 Milwaukee Brewers in this Nate's calling it a sudden death tournament. That works for me. In left field, Ben Ogilvie. In center, Gorman Thomas and Reich, Mark Bruhard, I'm sorry. From first to third, Cecil Cooper, Jim Gantner, Robin Yount, Paul Molitor catching Ted Simmons. All right, Don Sutton is ready to deal to Zoilo Versailles, who in 1965, a 273 average. He had 19 home runs, 77 runs batted in. So here we go. 3-1 pitch, Sutton behind already. And the delivery, Versailles 6-4, and he will trot down to first. And there was my first graphic glitch ever in Out of the Park 26. I kid you not. So Versailles, pretty good speed here. If we check his numbers, and let's look at 1965. 1965, so he did swipe 27 bases, only caught 5 times, so not too bad. And here's Jimmy Hall, pretty good contact hitter. Jimmy, a 285 average in 1965, 20 home runs, 86 runs batted in, so a lot of power on this Minnesota team. On this Minnesota team. All right, Sutton checks for Silas at first. Here is the pitch. First pitch swinging, and this one, fly ball, routine fly ball to center. And there to make the catch is Gorman Thomas, so one away. Versailles returns to first. Here's Tony Oliva. Oliva, 16 home runs, 98 runs batted in, a 321 average. Number 3 hitter here. Lefty stands in against Don Sutton, and here's the pitch. And there goes the runner. They're not going to get Versailles. So Ted Simmons went to grab the ball out of the cowhide and just couldn't get a good grip of the horsehide, and there you go. So the Twins now with a runner in scoring position. Oliva back in the box, full count. And Oliva swings, line drive, base hit. This is going to go all the way to the wall, and this is going to score a run. So RBI double for Tony Oliva. And to score is Zoilo Versailles, and the Minnesota Twins chalk one up here in the bottom of the first as these guys that are chanting "Let's go, let's go" probably sound more like the guys in the 1903 World Series singing that damn Tessie song. All right, so Cousin Ken joining us here. Always good to see. And Todd B here. 82 Brewers have terrible pitching, but a great offense. Both great offensive teams here. There was kind of one guy that kept these 65 Twins from winning it all, and that was Sandy Koufax. So lots of power on both sides. So I don't expect. I don't know. I'd love to think of this as going to be a pitching duel, but I don't think you're going to see a lot of finesse in this game. Hope I'm wrong. I prefer pitching duels. All right, here's the killer. Harmon Killebrew, 25 home runs, 75 ribbies, and a 269 average. Oliva on in scoring position with the RBI double that scored Zoilo Versailles here in the bottom of the first inning. Count full on Killebrew, and Killebrew's going to get this one down for a base hit. And there goes Oliva going for home. The throw hits the cutoff man. The throw to home is not in time, and here come the Twins. 2-0, bottom of the first, and 1 out. Killebrew, not a lot of speed at second. Here's Bob Allison. Bob Allison, left fielder here for these 65 Twins. A 233 average in 1965, but again, 23 home runs, 78 runs batted in. So, Todd B says, I should know they're in your project. So talking about those Brewers, yeah, the Wall Bangers, man, tough team. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. As Nate says, one of his favorite players of all time, Harmon Killebrew. Everything I've ever read about him, Killebrew supposedly just like one of the nicest guys in baseball. So, of course, if you're the opposing pitcher, you're not going to think of Killebrew as being nice, are you? All right, so Bob Allison in the box, 2-0 lead, just underway here in Minnesota. Bottom of the first, 2-0 Twins lead. Sutton winds and deals, 1-0 pitch, and this one sent out to center field, and trotting in and make the catch is Gorman Thomas. Killebrew, not enough speed to run on Gorman Thomas. 2 away now for the catcher, Earl Batty. Batty just single digits in home runs, 6 with 60 RBIs, and a 297 average for Batty. Good contact hitter, though. Sutton studies the signs from Ted Simmons and the 1-1 pitch. And Batty pops this one on the infield, third base side, or is it going to make the outfield? Nope. Right down to third, and Paul Molitor will grab it for the out. However, the Minnesota Twins of 1965 picks up 2 runs on 2 hits, no errors. They leave a runner in scoring position. We go to the top of the second, the 65 Twins 2 and the 82 Brewers nothing in this win and move on, or lose and you're out tournament in Out of the Park Baseball. We'll be also doing this same tournament in Action PC Baseball, Pocket Pennant Run, and possibly Diamond Mine. All right, Ken Castro. Everybody just having a good talk here. Todd B says, always loved Gorman Thomas. He looked like a guy who swigs beer and plays softball. How about it? How about it? There are a lot of characters on this team, and I think a good analog in terms of characters for the Harvey's Wallbangers, I immediately think of the 1934 Cardinals. Again, a team with a lot of character, gritty, guys that were, you can imagine, going to the pub and doing a lot of just hard drinking and stuff and getting out there the next day and just hitting the ball all over the place. All right, and speaking of Gorman Thomas, he's leading off here, followed by Ted Simmons and Ben Ogilvie. So Gorman Thomas's numbers in 1982, 245 average, with 39 round trippers, 112 runs batted in. Jim Cott has a strikeout through 1 inning of work. 3-1 pitch on the way to Thomas. Thomas taking all the way, this one low and inside, and Gorman Thomas will trot down to first base. Tying run, or potential tying run, comes to the plate in Ted Simmons. Simmons hit 269 that year for the Brew Crew with 23 home runs, 97 runs batted in. Swing of the bat ties it up, baseball fans. Nobody out, runner on, 2-0 Minnesota lead. Count even, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Oh my goodness, beautiful, beautiful slider there that got Ted Simmons swinging. Nothing doing. Jim Cott picks up strikeout number 2, Gold Glove pitcher. All right, here comes Ben Ogilvie now. 34 home runs, 102 runs batted in, and a 244 average. Very Dave Kingman-like. All right, lefty-lefty matchup here. Gorman Thomas at first, being held on there by Killebrew. Gorman Thomas could pilfer the occasional bag. Here's the pitch. Ogilvie, first pitch swinging. Sinking liner out there to right. But Tony Oliva on the run brings it down. Out number 2, Gorman Thomas gets back to first. All right, Mark Bruhard now up. 4 home runs, 10 ribbies at 269 average. 1-1 pitch on the way. Bruhard swings, and this one popped in the infield. Foul territory, first base slide, and making the catch is the killer. So Milwaukee picks up a hit, strands a run. We go to the bottom of the second. Minnesota leads Milwaukee 2-0. A little bit of an old-timey or old-fashioned American League action. I shouldn't say old-timey. Back when the Brewers were where they should be in the American League. All right, here we go. So Rich Rollins due up, Frank Quilici, and then Jim Cott for these 1965 Twin City squad. 2-2 pitch on the way to Rollins. And Rich Rollins swings right through a fastball there by Don Sutton. So Sutton picking up his first K of the game. 1 away now for Frank Quilici. Quilici with no homers. No home runs for the Twins in 1965. 7 RBI and a 208 average. Righty waits for Don Sutton's delivery. Righty-righty matchup. Full count to Quilici. And this one missing way off the plate. So second walk issued by Don Sutton. Frank Quilici on board, and he has average speed, a little bit above average speed. All right, here's Jim Cott. Of course, they're looking bunt with 1 out. 1-0 pitch, and Cott shows bunt and misses. Count 1-1. Jim Cott again missing. All right, he's got to swing away here. And indeed he does. Bouncer to third, and they're going to go to first. So the swinging sacrifice, and Frank Quilici moves into scoring position, 2 down. Back at the top of the order now for Zoilo Versales. He walked his last time up, And this time, big K and a miss. So they leave one in scoring position, and we head to the top of the third inning. Minnesota leading this one 2-0, and this is our Red Sox fan would call it a one-and-done tournament. Truth Hurts Wilkie joining us. Do you know what Ben Ogilvy's nickname was? Well, I can certainly cheat and click and look, but I'll let you go ahead and let us know. Todd B says, been thinking of shorter projects like these tournaments. The hardest part for me is to hit the autoplay. How about it? How about it? So, Banana Man was on Ogilvy's Apple Card. Huh. How about it? So, I guess we'll just have to find out. So, is it Banana Man? We're going to find out here. Let's look at Ben. Ben, we hardly knew you, lad. Let's look at his, probably be a lot faster look at the lineups, but I'll find him. There he is. Let's see what his nickname indeed was. Okay, so it's only in the main game that I'm going to get that. So I'm going to have to trust you. Banana Man, Ben Ogilvy. I don't know if I want to know why he was called that. I really, really don't want to know that. So Coach gave him that name from eating one banana after another. Okay, well that's a little bit more comforting to know, because you never know. Bananas can be interesting implements, as it were. All right, here's Don Sutton, and we swing back around the top of the order for the Brew Crew and Paul Molitor and Jim Gatner. All right, so guys, really these tournaments are a lead up to McGreevy, baby. It's coming back. Got to get back to my roots. Earl Batty flashes the signs. Jim Cott with the 1-2 pitch to Don Sutton. Don Sutton looks at one on the outside corner. So Don Sutton will take a seat. Jim Cott has now fanned 3 in this game. Back at the top of the order now, Paul Molitor, 1 for 1. 1-2 pitch on the way. And Molitor swings, and I mean, he drills this one out to right, but how about Tony Oliva barely having to move, playing that liner really nicely out there in the right pasture. So quickly, 2 down here from Milwaukee, and it brings up Jim Gatner, who's nothing for 1. Jim Cott ready to deal. The southpaw delivers. Gantner, first pitch swinging, easy ground ball to second, and clutch once, clutch twice. Quilici on to first. 1, 2, 3 go the Brew Crew, and we head to the bottom of the third inning here at Metropolitan Stadium. Minnesota leads Milwaukee 2-0. Only ripe ones. Yeah, sicko. Calling me sicko. Good. No, but you know, green bananas though, they have more. You know what I mean, right? Green bananas are going to stay more, they're going to stay more turgid as opposed to being flaccid, Cousin Ken, right? So if we're talking about being turgid, it's important, right? We eschew flaccidity. How about that? We eschew flaccidity. Swokie says that Brewers team had some great hitters. Yeah, Molitor, Yount, and Cooper. How about it? These are both. This is such a great matchup, these two teams. All right, Jimmy Hall, nothing for 1 to lead things off here in the bottom of the third for Minnesota. Minnesota scoring its runs, I should say, in the bottom of the first. 2 runs. 3-run pitch on the way to Jimmy Hall. The lefty swings, and this is just going to be a tapper to third. Ranging to his left and making the catch is Paul Molitor. Jimmy Hall will grab some pine now as Tony Oliva settles in the box. Oliva 1 for 1 with a run batted in. 1-2 pitch to Tony on the way. There's an RBI double that Oliva had, and look at this. Line drive base hit into left field, and Tony Oliva going for 2, and that's going to be 2 doubles for Tony. So definitely earning his paycheck here, knowing what's at stake, and knowing that this Milwaukee team is dangerous. So Sutton needing to lock these guys down. Harmon Killebrew responsible for the other run in this game. RBI double RBI that brought in Tony Oliva to make it 2-0. Count full on Killebrew. Killebrew takes outside. Don Sutton having some trouble here. So 2 strikeouts to accompany 3 walks, and it brings up Bob Allison. Nothing for 1. 2 on for Minnesota, looking to add to this 2-0 lead. Count even, 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Allison just swings right through that one. Nice little curveball. So Simmons been able to block that ball, pops out of his mitt, and tags him for the out. So 2 away now for the catcher, Earl Batty, who was nothing for 1. 3-1 the count. Popped out his last time up. Batty's going to draw the walk, and Don Sutton is in trouble. Minnesota Twins of 1965 have loaded him up, and Rich Rollins strides to the plate. Rollins, nothing for 1. Not known as a home run hitter, just 5 in 1965. Bases sold out. Tony Oliva at third, Harmon Killebrew at second, Earl Batty at first. The 1-0 pitch on the way. Oh, no! Oh, my God. So a balk is called on Don Sutton, as if his troubles weren't bad enough. A gift for the Minnesota Twins, and it is now 3-0. Sure, he's out of the bases loaded situation, but we're getting into the middle innings, and the Brewers facing a 3-run deficit. Rollins back in the box. First base open. Frank Quilici on deck. Count full. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. So after the ball call, Don Sutton comes back with a strikeout, but Minnesota picks up a run on 1 hit. There were no errors and 2 left in scoring position. We head to the top of the 4th. The 1965 Twins lead the 1982 Brewers 3-0. And this very first game of this tournament, comprised of teams by AP writers getting together. And this was posted up on Boston.com back in 2017. Good stuff. Clinton Park says, the language here, flaccidity, it's hurting my ears. I'm such a calm, staid, quiet. Oh, boys, is the feces rising here. Shy person staying home with your baseball cards, books, and watching a story of a New York family in 1972. Oh, God. Yep, yeah, just go with that. It says Cousin Ken. Let's just go with that. Because, man, oh, man, I'm not wearing my boots right now, Clinton. All right. I'm guessing that family is all in the family, so you're going to do a little Archie Bunker here for us. Sure, this Wilkie. How about the Reds getting shut out 3 times in a row by a score of 1-0? I don't recall seeing that in Major League Baseball. So the Pirates not doing well. We sent David Bednar down, but I think we only have 2 wins right now in the season. Reds not doing well. Brewers not doing well. The National League Central is just collectively stinking. The Cardinals doing okay, I guess, but there you go, huh? So one of the sons got married in Sicilia, just like Miguel de Corleone. I see you're watching The Godfather Part 1. Oh my God, that's great. So you know what? Brief detour. So many people mistake The Godfather as primarily a mafia movie. It's really first about family. What a masterpiece. So Miguel de Corleone marries Apollonia Vitelli, huh? And poor Apollonia, huh? Great, great movie. The first 2 Godfather movies, amazing. The third one, here we go. Robin Yount up. So Yount, Cooper, and Thomas, and the Milwaukee Brewers really need to get to work here. Jim Cott looking strong with 3 Ks and a walk through 3. 2-2 pitch on the way now to Robin Yount. And Yount swings, and Yount tags this one. Gapper in the right field alley. Yount's going to have 2 out of this one. So leadoff double, and they must have heard me there in Milwaukee. Harvey Keen saying, I hear you, Beatles eternally. You got it, brother. All right, here comes Cecil Cooper. A chance to get Milwaukee close in this game. Yount in scoring position. Can score in a single. 3-1 pitch on the way, and Cooper, little number out in front of the plate and fielding it, making a nice play is Earl Batty, who wings it down to first. So Yount does not advance in the play. 1 away brings up Gorman Thomas now. Gorman Thomas has yet to get a hit, but he has walked. Oh, my goodness gracious. Swing and a miss. Beautiful sinker there by Jim Cott. Hang up K number 4. Tessier Ashpool joining us here. Dwayne Martz joining us here. So, yeah, Antonio Andolini's backstory is a thing of beauty. How about it? Yeah, and Godfather 2. Um, yeah, I agree with you as far as Paul Skeens. Truth Hurts. I really, really, really do. Um, yeah, Nutting's got to spend some money. He's got to spend some money. We got to keep this guy. But again, the Pirates and the Reds, I think, have the same ownership. He's got a lot of Reds fans. Dwayne, I wanted to ask you, buddy, are you going to be doing like a launch night stream of Digital Diamond 13 to educate the rest of us? I hope you will. I hope you will. Or as soon after as possible. Look at Clinton, man, making me hungry. Jeez, he says, go to a place in Boston Spa. He says, get me a wicked Sunday dinner on Saturday. Meatballs, sweet and hot Italian sausage, chicken and gravy. It's been soaked 24 hours over angel hair pasta. If I didn't know Clinton any better, I would say that you were a paisan. Look at that, talking that. Is corn considered masterpiece? Yeah, sure. Why the hell not? All right. You know, I about Antonio Andolini. I talked about my I talked to my grandparents about that. They're immigrants, so you know the Italian side of my family not in this country very long, and so I'd ask my grandma. I said, was that that thing or how Vito gets the name Corleone, which by the way is an actual town in Sicilia. And they wanted to film The Godfather Part 2 in Corleone, but it was a little bit too modernized, so it was shot elsewhere. Another weird thing, Al Pacino's family is from Corleone, Sicilia, which is really weird. But I asked her about that, and she said that, yeah, indeed, in Ellis Island, sometimes they didn't have the best translators, and people's names were just changed by the federal government. She actually had a few friends that happened to, and they just kept the new given Italian name. So that wasn't a fiction on Francis Ford Coppola's part doing that at Ellis Island. And by the way, what a beautiful scene, and I promise to get back to the baseball game in a second, but in The Godfather Part 2, one of my favorite scenes in that movie, it is so beautiful and encapsulates, I think, what America is about, right? So the Mushulu, which is the ship, right, pulling in, you can tell I've watched the Godfather movies way too much, right? And you see all these immigrants standing up and looking at the Statue of Liberty, and the people, the way they cast them, it looked like a picture, right out of when did Vito come to America? 1907 or something like that. I think that is one of the most beautiful shots in that movie are the immigrants looking for that new life, and you're seeing people there from Russia, from Ireland, from Italy, from different countries in Africa, everywhere, and oh my God, just beautiful. If you haven't seen The Godfather 2 in a while, just that scene is just for as crazy as things are in America, that scene, it's just, to me, it fills your heart. It really does. All right. Back to it, 2 down, Robin Yount in scoring position. And here's Ted Simmons. He's nothing for 1. 1-0 pitch on the way to Simmons. And Simmons cuts on this ball and laces this one up the middle. And here comes Milwaukee. Milwaukee, the tag at home. And Yount is safe. So Milwaukee finally gets on the board here in the top of the 4th. Your score 3-1, my friends. Ted Simmons on a second, and here is the Banana Man, Ben Ogilvy, who's nothing for 1. 1-2 pitch on the way, and the lefty swings, high fly ball, shallow center field, and drawing a beat on it and bringing it down is Jimmy Hall. However, the Milwaukee Brewers of 1982 pick up a run on 2 hits, no errors. They strand one in scoring position. Get your cotton candy here. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning, and it's the Minnesota Twins 3 and the Milwaukee Brewers 1. Yount MVP, says Todd B. So there you go. So Clinton's aunt is a Basanti. Her mother was Italian. So, and your mom's mom was Irish. So there you go. You got the right combination. Italian Irish. It's the best. It's the best. It is the best. The old saying in the neighborhood was if you couldn't marry a nice Italian girl, you marry a nice Irish girl. But me being half Irish didn't matter. So it was all good. All good, all good, all good. And yet they hated each other in Boston. How about that? So they kind of got it wrong in Boston, the Italians and the Irish, but they were a little bit more okay with each other in New York. Yeah, how about it? That Winter Hill gang, and then you had the Southies, and oh my goodness gracious. All right, don't get me started on mob movies, which I've already started. Frank Quilici up there now. All right, Don Sutton has got himself at least a run to work with, but still down 2 against these Twins. 1-2 pitch on the way from Sutton. And Quilici looks at one on the corner. Beautiful pitch there. A nice slider by Don Sutton. Picks up his 5th strikeout. And here comes Jim Cott now. He's nothing for 1. Struck out his last time up. 0-2 pitch. Although it says he grounded out. I thought he struck out. This time he struck out. So it's all good. Don Sutton now has set down 6 with the big K. 2 out. We're back at the top of the order. Zoilo Versalles, who is nothing for 1. 1-2 delivery on the way. And swung on, and little flare that's going to get out into left center field. It's a little cheater hit, but that'll count. And that's going to read as a screaming line drive in the newspaper tomorrow. By the way, one more thing, speaking of gangsters and family-oriented stuff, I am through another watch through of Sons of Anarchy. I love that show to bits. And there's actually little Easter eggs throughout that show, which is a retelling of Hamlet, but little Easter eggs to The Godfather all through that movie and The Sopranos. So pretty nice. All right, Doc Medich is coming on. So Don Sutton is done. So let's look at Doc Medich here. In Medich in 1982, 5 wins, 4 losses, 63 innings pitched. Gave up 35 earned runs, walked 32, and struck out 36. Had an ERA of 5. All right, he faces Jimmy Hall. A runner aboard here, 2 away, 3-1 your score. Medich with the 1-0 delivery. And swung on. And this one just popped up on the infield. No, out in the outfield. Sorry about that. Gorman Thomas has it. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. A man left on. We go to the top of the 5th. It is 3-1 in favor of the Twins. Mark Brewer, Don Money. So Don Money in the game now. Doc Medich batting in the 4th slot. So it'll be Brewer, Don Money, and Paul Molitor. All right. Movie The Legitimate Kind. Unknown to yep. Amazing Skeens baseball cards sold over $1 million. It's crazy, right? Just crazy stuff. Yeah, they got Pirates have to spend money because Skeens is going to end up with the Yankees, Dodgers, Cubs, Red Sox. You know. So yeah, Bob Nutting, in my opinion, that way I don't get sued. Bob Nutting's a moron. All right, here we go. 1-2 pitch on the way to Brewer. And this one late called strike 3 by the umpire. Brewer caught looking, so that's Jim Cott's 5th strikeout. And here's Don Money. Don Money, in 275 at bats in 1982, had 55 ribbies, 16 home runs, and a 284 average. So certainly nothing to sneeze at. Decent power, good contact. Count even, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Oh, big swing and a miss. So 2 out now, and we're back at the top of the order. Paul Molitor was 1 for 2. Count even, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Molitor cuts and misses. So Jim Cott strikes out the side. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning, and it's the 65 Twins 3 and the 82 Brewers 1. All right, still wish Once Upon a Time in America would get more credit. An amazing, amazing movie. Yeah, so his name's Charlie Hunnam, Clinton. He is actually a Brit. and got so immersed in the role that after of the Sons of Anarchy role that he actually had to go to a dialect coach to relearn, re-get his British accent. Charlie Hunnam, pretty damn good actor, pretty damn good actor. The King Arthur movie didn't get the press it should have. Pretty decent movie. Not the best King Arthur movie out there, but it was good. So yeah, Charlie Hunnam. A lot of good names in there. Mark Boone Jr. All right, Tony Oliva. It's going to be the 3-4-5 hitters, Oliva, Killebrew, and Allison. So anybody new to the family here, you never know what we're going to talk about. Oliva having a perfect 2-for-2 day, including a run batted in. 3-1 pitch. Double back in the third. And Tony Oliva is going to line this one to first. And Don Money just puts his glove out and pulls the pill down. One away now for Harmon Killebrew. Killer's 1-for-1 with a run batted in. He's ahead 3-0. Killebrew's taken all the way, didn't even twitch the ash there. And he will walk. So Doc Medich issues a free pass. Killebrew on. And here comes Bob Allison now, who is sporting a 0-for-2. 3-0 pitch. Allison takes inside. Back-to-back walks by Doc Medich. So you're going to see some movement, I'm sure, in that Milwaukee bullpen. In fact, when we get to the top of the 6th inning, Doc Medich would be due up third. All right, here's Earl Batty now. He's 0-for-1. 2 on, 1 out. Here's the pitch. Oh, and this one is going to be a wild pitch. This one gets by Simmons. Scored a wild pitch, and the runners move up. Nothing going right so far for these Milwaukee Brewers. All right. So a balk and a wild pitch biting him in the arse. Earl Batty back in the box now, and here's the 3-1 pitch. Earl Batty draws the walk. Oh, my goodness. Harvey Keene, you need to wake up out there. Base is sold out. Infield going to try to cut off the run at the plate with the rather lead-footed slow coach in terms of running, Harmon Killebrew. Rich Rollins, 0-for-2. Medich out of the stretch, and the 2-0 delivery. Rollins swings, fly ball left field, twisting toward the line, and making a nice catch out there is the Banana Man. Bases remain loaded, and here's Frank Quilici now. He's 0-for-1. 1-1 pitch. Frank swings. This one should end the inning, and it does. Little pop out to short. Wow, Medich gets out of a huge jam. So Minnesota leaves him loaded. Could this be a pivotal point in the contest? We shall see. All right, Jim Gantner, Robin Yount, and I'm sure we're going to see a pinch hitter for Doc Medich. All right, so Gantner in the game is 0-for-2. 0-1 pitch on the way to Jim. Lefty-lefty matchup. Gantner lines this one. Oh, a little quail over short into center field. So here comes Milwaukee picking up its 5th base knock of the game. Robin Yount now 1-for-2. And here's the pitch. Yount swings in the first pitch. Line drive, base hit right field. Going toward the corner. And Yount is going for 2. And he is in there. And Jim Gantner makes it to third. So here we go. And indeed, we do have the pinch hitter. Here's Ed Romero. 144 bats for him in 1982 for the Harvey Wallbangers. A home run, 7 ribbies, a .250 average. A chance for Romero to maybe silence this Milwaukee crowd a little bit. 2 in scoring position, nobody out. Jim Cott has given up a free pass, has struck out 7, and now he's finding himself in a world of hurt. Can he get out of this mess? Gorman Thomas waits on deck. First base open. I don't know. Do you want to give first base to Ed Romero? Let's see what Jim wants to do here. Count full. So kind of pitching around him, and that's indeed what he does. So the bases are loaded. Nobody out. And Jim Cott now wishes he had 3 of those strikeouts back of the 7 that he has. So, and it doesn't get too easy here for him either with Gorman Thomas, Ted Simmons, and Ben Ogilvy. So, an absolutely platinum opportunity here for the Brew Crew to do something. Turning point of the game is what Nate's saying here. I believe Doc Medich was like an EMT or something, and didn't he actually go on, I think, to be a doctor after baseball? But the Medich, obviously. But yeah, I thought I read somewhere that he actually became a doctor after his baseball career. Yeah, went to medical school in Pittsburgh. His first name is George. Johnny Depp was raised 30 miles from here. Owensboro, Kentucky. Owensboro also has a rather dubious distinction. Truth Hurts Wokey, you probably already know this. The last public execution held in the United States in Owensboro, Kentucky, 1936, I believe. All right, here's Gorman Thomas batting with the bases loaded. Jim Cott surrounded by the Brew Crew here, and none of them offered anything but a cheap-ass Pilsner to him. 1-2 pitch on the way. Gorman Thomas struck out his last time up. Whoa, here we go. Jim Cott dropping the curveball. That's living a little bit dangerously there. You know, you're usually as a pitcher, you're going to try to bring that heat, but drop the hammer in, and there you go. So one away. Oh, so you didn't know about Owensboro? Yep. Yeah, I know this is going to make half the people leave. I'm an anti-death penalty activist, so did a published paper actually on in an academic journal when I was doing my master's on the death penalty, and that was one of the things I did some study on was was public execution, as they were just awful. So when we start the other thing, that's one of the things I do want to talk about is that. Um, but again, it's not going to be a platform. But it was not a nice thing. Not a nice thing. So 1936. Thank you, Nathaniel. All right. Let me see. Truth was working. His son-in-law went to school with Brad Wilkerson, who played for the Montreal Expos. Nice. All right, here's Ted Simmons batting with the bases loaded. Jim Cott, what's he going to do? Is he going to fire some gas or is he going to drop the hammer again? 1-2 pitch. Oh, my goodness. And this one is going to bring in a couple going all the way to the alley in left. 2 runs are going to score. Nathaniel, you got to be a happy man just about right now. There we go. So a 2 RBI double by Ted Simmons and the wall bangers now. We are knotted at 3. New ball game here in the middle innings. All right, so then here's Ben Ogilvy, and Bill Place will come in now to pitch for the Minnesota Twins. Looking at his numbers in 1965, he was 4 wins, 4 losses, 51 1/3 worked, 17 earned runs. He walked 27 and struck out 33 and had a 2.98 earned run average. On the low end of the velocity scale, but pretty good movement, and he can mix up the stuff a little bit. All right, the lefty finishes his warm-up pitches as left-handed hitter Ben Ogilvy steps in. Nothing for 2 for him. 2-0 the count. And Ogilvy tattoos this one out to center field, but a little high. But it will be deep enough to score. And for the first time in this game, the 1982 Milwaukee Brewers take the lead. It's 4-3. There you go, Nathaniel. We got a big, big yes there. Conviction, opinion, belief, poor word choice. I would never judge someone on a conviction. Different people, different experiences. There you go. Clinton says his wife and he belong to the Facebook page about that. We were both against it unless it's truly merited. Innocence Project. I love the Innocence Project. Amazing what they've done. Yup. Phew, they saved a lot of lives. I mean, no matter where you stand, I know a lot of people that are very hardcore for capital punishment, but I don't know anybody for capital punishment that says it would be okay to execute an innocent. So, a lot of love to the Innocence Project. Good for them. Love them. All right, back to it, gents. Back to it. So Mark Brewhard, and the Brewers getting it done here, man. They're getting it done. So 4-3 now. They were shut out the first 3 innings of this game. Did tack on one, get their first in the fourth inning. And the Minnesota bats have been quiet since inning number 3. All right, here we go. So Mark Breward's nothing for 2. 1-2 pitch on the way. Brewer swings and line drive down to the right corner. And here come Harvey's wall bangers now. Nathaniel, we need another big yes from you. There's an RBI. Mark Breward with the RBI double. And now with a safer margin, as Ernie Harwell would say. 5-3 in favor of the Brewers. Plating 4 here in the 6th. 2 down. So Nate's saying he's a happy man. He's a happy man. All right. Yeah, lots of rain expected in a lot of locations. So, yeah, next few days it's going to be crazy. Actually, we didn't get half our freight in today at FedEx because of really bad weather down around Memphis. Power outages and all that kind of fun stuff. So April is the multiple personality disorder month. All right, here's Don Money now. He has nothing for 1, 2 down. Mark Breward in scoring position after that double. And what do we got here? So it looks like we got the intentional walk. So they're walking Don Money to get to Paul Molitor, who's 1 for 3. Not really sure that's the smartest move. Molitor in there batting with 2 outs. 1-2 pitch. Molitor swings and yep, bad. This one solidly stroked into right. And here comes Milwaukee coming in, standing up, scoring. Run number 6. So Milwaukee is plated 5. And Minnesota, maybe Sam Meal forgot that this is a one and done tournament. But Minnesota down 6-3 here, top of the 6th. Here's Jim Gantner now. Or as they'd say in Ulster, here's Jim Gantner, night. People from Northern Ireland can't say now, they say night. All right. 2 in scoring position here. 2-2 pitch from the stretch. Strike 3. But the Milwaukee Brewers of 1982 bat around. They score 5 runs. And we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. And probably all kinds of things happen here. Let's see. Mike Caldwell will come on in relief now for Milwaukee. Don Money, of course, stays in first, as we know. Everything else looks absolutely kosher. And let's see, we got Jerry Kindle batting now in the number 9 slot. In the back of the top is Zoilo Rosales and Jimmy Hall. So now it's Minnesota that's got to get to work here. Hobbies are us. He struck him out. Hobbies are us. This is his requisite time in the chat, and he gets himself a moderator wrench. Thank you, my friend, for being part of this crazy family that we have here. So next time you type, you'll see a wrench and your name in blue. Thank you, bud. So Todd B saying that it's early, and the Brewers' pen is weak as well, outside of Raleigh Fingers. Good point. Good point. Not I wouldn't count either of these teams out, although Milwaukee was kind of a little bit. They were a little bit lethargic in the first 3 innings. All right. Big story for both of these teams is going to be left on base. All right. Jerry Kindle, let's look at his numbers in 1965. So 6 homers, 36 runs batted in, a 196 average, is 342 at bats. 1-0 pitch on the way to Kindle. Caldwell deals, and Kindle, oh, this one under the webbing, out to short. Wow, how about that? So Robin Yount, Gold Glove shortstop. That one just probably a millimeter. His glove maybe a millimeter above the pill. And Kindle's aboard at first, and that brings up Zoilo Rosales back at the top of the order. He's 1 for 2. Mike Caldwell with an 0-2 count. And this one, grounder to second. Gantner making the quick play to first. Kendall moves to second, one away. Runner in scoring position. Here's Jimmy Hall, sporting a 0-for-3. And Hall swings. Will this get down? It will. Base hit. So Minnesota fans waking up again. Runners at the corners for the 1965 Twins. And it brings up Tony Oliva. Oliva 2-for-3, a run batted in. Jimmy Hall, good speed at first. Count full. And Oliva swings, grounder to short, and they're going to go to second to get the runner. But Kendall will score, and Minnesota inching closer. It's now 6-4. Truth Hurts Wookie says, I thought when I was a kid he thought he was going to get the death penalty. Oh my God. He was 6 years old, stole a Three Musketeers bar. Mom made him bring it back and tell the manager, never forget it. Oh man. That's funny. I can see it now. Oh my goodness gracious. All right. It's just the imagery. The imagery. All right. Harmon Killebrew, 1-for-1 in the game. 3-0 pitch. Killer. They go way outside. They're not going to pitch to Killebrew. Too dangerous. So 2 down, and they're going to bypass Harmon in favor of Bob, my friend Bob Allison. So Bob Allison, 0-for-2. That's an insurance agent's name if I've ever heard one. Hi, I'm Bob Allison, and I am here to talk about indemnity. How about that? I know, I'm so messed up. So Todd B says, life lesson there. Should have nabbed a Snickers bar. That's brilliant, man. All right. 2-1, 2 down. 6-4 is your score. 3-2 pitch to Bob Allison. And Allison laces this one into center field. And the Twins are back to within 1. What a fun game this one has turned out to be. Absolutely no finesse in this game at all. So Bob Allison, he'll be selling some insurance after the game, but knocks one in. RBI single, 6-5. Nathaniel may be sweating a little bit under the collar right now as Earl Batty steps in. Runners at the corners. Caldwell out of the stretch and the 0-2 pitch. And Caldwell, or Batty, tattoos this one out the center deep, but Gorman Thomas reaching over that bit of fence there and making the catch. Woo! Big play out there in center, but 2 come in for the 1965 Twinsies. And we go to the top of the 7th. The 1982 Brewers are edging Cousin Castro. There you go. See, edging, edge play. 6-5 over the 1965 Twins. Dave Boswell will come in now to pitch for the 1965 Twins. Boswell's record in 1965, 6 wins, 5 losses, 106 innings worked. Gave up 40 earned runs, 46 walks, 85 strikeouts, an ERA of 3.40. He's got pretty good stuff, but below average movement and pitching to contact. Boswell deals 2-0 pitch. Robin Yount in the box, 2-for-3, had a double back in the 6th. And this time, textbook 4-3 put out. Can call it right before Yount even gets to the base. So nice routine play out there by Jerry Kendall. And here comes, we got us a pinch hitter now in Marshall Edwards. So Marshall Edwards, 178 at-bats, in 1982. 2 homers, 14 ribbies, a 247 average for him. So decent contact, below average power. Base is empty, 1 away here in the top of the 7th. 0-2 pitch on the way. Marshall Edwards, knee buckler on the inside corner. So Dave Boswell coming with a nice little pull the chain action. All right, Gorman Thomas batting with 2 down here. And we do have some Milwaukee fans that made the trip here to Minneapolis-St. Paul. Gorman Thomas, 0-for-2. Count full. Struck out his last time and draws the walk this time. Oh, and they are incredulous here in Minnesota. But walks happen, kiddos. All right, here's Ted Simmons now. Ted Simmons having a good day at the plate. So 2 for 3, and he's responsible for 3 of these 6 Milwaukee runs. Here's the pitch. And Ted Simmons gets plunked. So Dave Boswell, I don't know if this was, I don't think there'd be any bad blood here, but Simmons, again, with 3 RBI in the game. And you don't really want Ben Ogilvy up there because if he gets hold of the ball, it's going to go into the next county. All right, but he is 0 for 2, run batted in, 2 down here, top of the 7th. Count full. Ogilvy looks at called strike 3. Nice curveball. 7th inning stretch time. Hell of a game we got going here, baseball fans. 6-5. Brewers leading the Twins. Todd B says he's surprised to see Caldwell strictly starter. Well, we are in a you got each team you're right must-win situation. This is not a best of 3. 1 and stay or 1 and you're out of there. All right, here we go. All right, so we have Dwight Bernard now on for Milwaukee. So they're pulling out the stops here. Bernard's numbers look like this, my friends. 3 wins, 1 loss, 79 innings worked, 78 hits, 33 earned runs, 27 walks, 45 strikeouts, a 3.76 earned run average for him. So above average pitcher, wants to try to keep the Twins down 1 run. So it's going to be the bottom of the order. It's going to be Rollins, a pinch hitter for Boswell, and then Kindle. All right, Dwight Bernard has finished his warm-up pitches. Rich Rollins in the box, nothing for 3. Bernard deals, and Rollins flew out with the bases loaded last time. Slow dribbler to short, getting down the line, close play, and that strong throw by Robin Yount, and they get Rollins for 1 out. And here we go. We got an early pinch hitter here. Sandy Valdespino is in here. So 245 at bats for the Twins. Home run 22 ribbies, 261 average. Bernard peers in. Simmons shaking off Simmons. Now has a sign he likes. The righty ready to deal to this lefty. 1-1 pitch to Valdespino. Valdespino sends this one out to left field. Too much hang time, though, on that one. Ben Ogilvy will reel in that fishy for out number 2. Here's Jerry Kindle. Substituting his game, and he's 1 for 1 with a run scored. Here's the pitch. And Kindle, Texas Leaguer into center field. Here we go. And now the potential tying run is on first with 2 away. Back at the top of the order, Zoilo Rosales, 1 hit in 3 attempts. 0-1 pitch. Rosales swings, hard ground ball past third into left field. Kindle bluffs going to third. All right, so Dwight Bernard got a bear down. Jimmy Hall 1 for 4 here for the Minnesota center fielder. Count full. Oh, my goodness gracious. Bernard in a lot of trouble now as the Minnesota Twins have loaded him up. And that will bring up Tony Oliva. Oliva, 2 for 4, 2 ribbies. Bases are sold out. No room at the end, baseball fans. All right, Bernard from the stretch. 3-0 pitch to Oliva. And it's a walk. Oh, my goodness gracious. Whole new ball game here, bottom of the 7th. The Twins tie it up. And we are identical in this line score, 6-9-0 for both of these squads. Here's Harmon Killebrew, a swing in the bat, and the killer could put this game out of reach. Todd was talking about this bullpen here for these Milwaukee Brewers, and seems to be bearing out his observation here, these 1982. Under overline for this game is 20, says Todd B. I'm looking for a great baker. I have a place for you over in Brooklyn. So it reminds me, Clinton, have you ever seen the movie Brooklyn Rules? Excellent movie. You can find it on YouTube. Story about three friends and growing up around the mob, of course. Fantastic movie. Alec Baldwin. You wouldn't imagine him as being able to play a mafia capo regime. He does a great job. A great job. All right, anyhow, Versailles at third. Hall at second. Tony Oliva at first for Harmon Killebrew. 1-for-1 with an RBI. 3-2 pitch to the killer. And this should end the inning. Grounder to second. And Killebrew wasting a bases-loaded opportunity. But the Twins do pick up a run. And we head to the top of the 8th inning. And Johnny Clipstein, or Clipstein, whichever you want to say, is on to pitch now for Minnesota. And he will face Mark Bruhard, who had that RBI double last time. Don Money and Paul Molitor here in the 8th. All right. So let's look at the line here on Johnny. 9 wins and 3 losses in 1965. 76 1/3 work, 59 hits. 19 earned runs, 31 walks, 59 Ks, and a 2.24 earned run average. Has pretty good stuff, according to the scouts. All right. 1-0 pitch on the way to Mark Bruhard. That RBI double last time up, and line drive base hit into left field. Boos going up here in Minnesota as Don Money now strides to the plate, settles in the box, digs in, 0-for-1. Clipstein checks Bruhard at first. 1-0 pitch. And Don Money swings, grounder to third, and booted over there by Rollins. Oh my goodness gracious. So Rich Rollins making a possible costly E5 over there, and here comes Paul Molitor. 2-for-4. Run batted in for him. And Nathaniel on the edge of his seat. Nobody out. 2 on here in the top of the 8th. 3-1 pitch on the way. Molitor checks his swing. And the man in blue says he did not go around. The bat did not cross the plane of the foul line. Did not break his wrists. However you want to put it. Bases sold out. And here is Jim Gantner batting in the 2-hole. 1-for-4 for Gantner in the game. Will Milwaukee capitalize on a bases-loaded situation? Infield obviously playing in. 1-2 pitch on the way to Gantner. Oh, big swing and a miss by Jim Gantner. How about that? So Clipstein getting a timely strikeout, but now he's got to get past Robin Yount. Robin Yount 2-for-4 in the game. So Nathaniel says, I'm used to these Brewers games growing up in the 90s. All right. So Bruhard at third, Money at second, Paul Molitor at first. Count even, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Oh, swing and a miss. Look at this. Johnny Clipstein coming in and getting her done, man. Back-to-back strikeouts. And that's going to bring up Ray Howell. He will be pinch hitting. So Howell for Harvey's Wallbangers, 300 at bats, 4 homers, 38 ribbies, and a 260 average. Decent contact hitter. All right. Can he strike out the side with the bases loaded? Can he do it? 3-2 pitch on the way. Howell swings and fly ball to left, and racing over on his horse is Bob Allison. They leave him loaded. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning, and we are knotted at 6. Hell of a game. Milwaukee leading in hits 10-9. Minnesota leading in errors 1-0. All right, Pete Ladd now. Good grief, we're gonna have the entire pitching staff here for Milwaukee if this thing ends up going to extras. Looking at Ladd's numbers in 1982, 1 win, 3 losses. worked just 18, 16 hits, 8 earned runs, walked 6, struck out 12, and earned around an average of 4. All right, he will be facing Bob Allison, Earl Batty, and Rich Rollins, the number 5, 6, 7 hitters for the 1965 Twins. I want to thank everybody for hanging out for Game 1 of this Boston.com tournament. 0-1 pitch on the way to Pete Ladd, or to Bob Allison, I should say. And Allison swings, just a little roller out there to second base, and Jim Gantner says, not a problem. My grandma could have fielded that ball. So 1 away. Here's Earl Batty now. Minnesota faithful looking for their catcher to get on base. 0-2 pitch on the way. And Batty swings, and this one just a lazy fly ball out to left field. And even though the play-by-play, I occasionally look at it, says Ogilvy was charging hard. He wasn't charging anywhere. He played that one perfectly. All right. Anyhow, 2 down, and here's Don Mincher. I was wondering when Don Mincher would join the festivities here. So Mincher, a .251 hitter in 1965 for Sam Mills, Minnesota Twins. 22 home runs, 65 runs batted in for him. So here we go. The lefty coming off. Can he be a hero here for these Minnesota faithful? Count full on Don Mincher. Nope. Strike 3. Have a seat, Mr. Mincher. So the Minnesota Twins go in order. We head to the top of the 9th inning. 6 all. And Al Worthington will come on to try to keep these Milwaukee bats quiet. So for the Brewers, we'll have Gorman Thomas, Ted Simmons, and Ben Ogilvy. It's anybody's guess what Minnesota's going to do when we get to the bottom of the 9th. So far, it's looking like Nosek, Kindle, and then Versailles back at the top of the order. But we shall see what we shall see. Batty sets up. Worthington has finished his warm-up pitches. 10-7 in 1965. In 80 1/3 work, 57 hits, 19 earned runs, 41 walks, 59 strikeouts, and a quite respectable ERA of 2.13. Not bad. Going 10-7, huh? 2-2 pitch. Gorman Thomas will be 0 for 5 in this game. Nice curveball there by Worthington. 1 out. Correct me if... Actually, you know what? I think I'm just going to check myself. I got to see. Worthington. Where were you? Okay. I just want to check. All right. Back to it. And here's Ted Simmons now. Batting with 1 away. Simmons with 3 RBI in this game. 2 for 3. 0-1 pitch on the way to the catcher. Swung on, grounder up first, and Killebrew has it, and he'll feed on to Worthington for the 3-1 putout. So 2 away now for Ben Ogilvy. RBI, he's 0 for 3, 1-0 pitch to Ogilvy. The lefty swings, and this one a little harmless fly ball out to center field. Coming in is Jimmy Hall and makes the catch. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Will there be a walk-off? Raleigh Fingers. Now, here he comes. Strides to the mound. Gives the rosin bag a little toss here and there. A little contact juggling, if you will. Tosses it aside in disdain and looks in at Joe Nosek. Batting, making his first plate appearance today. Nosek, .218 hitter for Minnesota in 1965 with 2 round trippers and 16 ribbies. Simmons sets the target. Raleigh Fingers with the pitch to Joe Nosek. First pitch swinging, hard ground ball to first, and they got all day to make this play. Don Money underhands to Fingers, score that one 3-1, and that brings up Jerry Kindle. 2 for 2 today for him. And here's the wind in, the pitch. First pitch swinging, popped into foul ground, first base side, and not a problem over there for Ted Simmons for out number 2. Looks like we are on the verge of extra innings, my friends, unless Zola Versailles can pull it off. 19 homers in the regular season, 2 for 4 today. And here we go, Raleigh Fingers to deal. 1-2 pitch on the way. Oh, called strike 3. 1, 2, 3. Go the Minnesota Twins. We head to the top of the 10th inning. And this is going to be a battle of the bullpens now, I think. Mark Brewer, Don Money, and Paul Molitor due up for the Brew Crew. Nathaniel is saying, let's go. Worthington, full count now on Mark Brewer. And he swings. And good contact, but right to right field. Tony Oliva comes in on that ball and makes the catch. So nice little cutter there from Al Worthington. All right, Don Money now batting in the 9 slot. Money did not start the game. 0 for 2. Count full on Don Money. Reached an error last time. And hard hit ball to short. Oh, and booted there by Zoilo Versales. Muffing it, trying to get the throw off. E6, here we go. The potential winning run. Oh, no, I'm sorry. So potential go-ahead run on for Milwaukee here in the top of the 10th. Back to the top of the order for the great Paul Molitor, 2 for 4 with a run batted in. Money is not the fleetest of foot. 0-2 pitch on the way to Molitor, who walked his last time. Oh, big swing and a miss. Knuckle curve there coming from Al Worthington. So 2 outs. And what can Jim Gantner do? Sporting a 1 for 5 here. Here's the pitch. And Gantner cuts in the first pitch. This one hit deep to center field. And this is going to go all the way to the wall. Is this going to be the walk-off? Nathaniel, is it going to be the walk-off? Gantner, or not the walk-off, but Gantner, the go-ahead. Nathaniel, it's 7-6. 7-6, my friend. I don't know why I keep calling it a walk-off. The carrot clearly pointing up there, signifying the top of the 10th. Here we go. When Brewers in the American League Central with the Twins, they had some really good games. I'm glad that the seeding worked out, that these two are meeting in this one and done. Well-played game by both teams, although wild pitches, balks, leaving lots of runners on base. This was not a pretty game, but it's been a fun one. Whoever wins. Robin Yount's mission, with his 29 home runs in the regular season 1982, is to get some cushion. We'll see the 2, 3, 4 slots due up for Minnesota when we get to the bottom of the 10th. Hall, Oliva, and Killebrew. Al Worthington with 2 strikeouts. 1-1 pitch on the way. Swung on, and this is going to get down for a base hit. Robin Yount comes through. Big clutch RBI single is the throw. Offline up the first base side. It is 8-6 Milwaukee. And are they going to allow Raleigh Fingers to hit? Yes, they are. Not much of a choice, I guess. Fingers looks at called strike 3, but 2 huge runs on 2 hits, 1 error, and a runner left. We go to the bottom of the 10th inning. The 1982 Brewers on the cusp of advancing, and the 1965 Twins will be packing it up, going to play some golf. Jimmy Hall, 1 for 4. Raleigh Fingers looking for the win and the save. 2-2 pitch. If indeed they win this. Slow tapper to first, not a problem. Don Money will take this one 3 unassisted. All right. Actually, no, it won't be a save situation. It'll be a win. My mistake, because Milwaukee was losing at that time, so this will not be a save situation or a win situation. Whatever. It won't be a save because you're not saving it for anybody. Whatever. I'm too tired to think. Tony Oliva, 2 for 4. Here we go. 3 RBI, 2-2 pitch. And Oliva swings, base it up the middle. Twins are not going quietly into that good night. Aaron Reed, how you doing? Mike Silva, what's up with the yellow piss trail after the ball? So I can see what the hell's going on half the time, Mike. Hope you're doing well. All right. And potential tying run here in the bottom of the 10th. Strides to the plate, and none other but Harmon Killebrew. Killebrew does have an RBI. Good news for Milwaukee is that Killebrew hasn't gone yard. Tony Oliva has some pretty good speed there at first. And here we go, guys. 2-2 pitch. Swung on. This could be it. 4-6-3, and that is it. The Milwaukee Brewers of 1982, the first team to win in the tournament. There we go. So they will advance to round 2, and the 1965 Twins will go home. So this was fun, man. 8 runs, 12 hits, no errors for Milwaukee. 6 runs, 10 hits, and 2 errors for Minnesota. Good stuff. So Tony Oliva said it was cold comfort to be named MVP in a losing effort with his team ousted in round 1. The 65 Twins player had a standout performance against the 82 Brewers, but it still wasn't good enough, pardon me, to get the win as the club fell 8-6 and the contest played at Metropolitan Stadium. There's certainly no pain in the Milwaukee clubhouse after the game, as the team joyously celebrated its birth going to round 2. Players hooted and hollered, did things with bananas and bear hugs, and being turgid as opposed to flaccid, and high fives being exchanged as a round 5 victory remained a very real possibility. So they will face the winner of either the Texas Rangers of 2011 will be facing the 1905 New York Giants. So there we go. First game done. And don't forget, guys, when you're playing tournaments, if you got a bunch of teams, don't click this because you have all kinds of other games you got to play. So lots of fun stuff coming up here. Kansas City Royals of 2015 will face the 1902 Pittsburgh Pirates. For instance, we also have the 76 Reds going up against the 70 Orioles. That's going to be a good one. That's going to be a real fun game there, guys. Oh, God, I hate this. This is always done this like this. The 2001 Mariners will be taking on the 1929 Philadelphia A's. Lots of good matchups here. Let me see. The 2001 Diamondbacks will take on Murderers Row. So condolences to the Diamondbacks, I think. The 2007 Rockies will face the 1917 White Sox. And onward we go. You guys can see all these matchups here. So there's the Brewers. They get their yay, we won. Guys, thank you. Way to go, Brewers, says Nathaniel. And thank you for that, Clinton. That's a line I never repeat. I just say thank you for that. So that's pretty much it, guys. Pretty short stream here, an hour, 22 minutes. So I don't know. Any last words? We'll probably do another game tomorrow night. Don't know which one. These are all really, really, really good matchups. It depends on who comes in. If Nathaniel comes in, he's going to have to wait because the Brewers have advanced now. So, but we'll see if I recognize. So if Clinton is the first one in here tomorrow night, it'll be the game with the 1912 Boston Red Sox. If Robert makes an appearance, it'll be the 1986 Mets. If it's Cousin Ken, 2011 Phillies, and so on and so forth. All right, thank you, Clinton. I'd really love to know about that. Aaron Reed says, "Hey Beatles, figured out how to import as played schedule with the app. However, there's still some things I don't understand." Yeah, the as played schedules. That's good. They're a bit squiffy. All right. Clinton says, "Keep going, enjoying this." I definitely will. This will be a faster project, but hope to knock this one out pretty fast. As everything is just one and done. Even the final game, it's just one. So that's it for me, gentlemen. I want to thank Clinton Parks, the professor, Aaron Reed, Nate Advocate 8 Nathaniel, our good buddy, Mike Sova, who has created all kinds of havoc in the world and beautiful ballparks. Going back, Todd B. If Todd B's first in the ballpark, or Tim, it'll be the 1948 Indians. Tessier Ashpool, I can't remember who your team is, man. Truth Hurts Wilkie, thank you very much. Hobbies Are Us, thank you to our newest moderator and official member of the family now. La Familia. So we actually are more of a borgata than a familia. So if you know your, if not, look up what a borgata means. It means a little bit different than familia. Cousin Ken Castro, the heart and soul of this crazy channel. Dusty Crevice, oh my God, I missed you, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He said his perfect team is on a slide. He's been having a pretty good season so far, but this month, July, they were 7-14. Dude, I'm so sorry I missed you, man. I was actually focused on a ball game. Our good friend Dwayne Martz, who says that he hopes to be doing a release day, release night live broadcast of version 13 of Digital Diamond Baseball. I'm so chuffed about it. Having Status Pro built into it, you're going to start seeing that game more in the channel now. Just really excited about it. Did I get everybody? I hope so. God bless it. No, I didn't. Corey Highfield was here with us. Thank you, Corey. And Nathaniel, first and the ballpark. Guys, until then, you're welcome, Nathaniel. Everybody take care until the next time. See you around the batting cage. All right. Buonanotte. Buonanotte.